On brief. News, not opinions. Labour has slumped to its lowest approval rating of the Parliament, with a new YouGov poll showing Sir Keir Starmer's party on just 20%, only 3 points ahead of the Conservatives, and well behind Nigel Farage's Reform UK, which now leads on 28%. The numbers mark a dramatic fall for Labour, which swept into office little more than a year ago. Many voters appear increasingly disillusioned by its economic record, rising taxes, and a perception that the government has failed to get a grip on crime, migration or public services. The poll also underlines the surge of Reform UK, whose promise of mass deportations, tougher borders and a break from EU entanglements has cut through with voters who feel abandoned by the political establishment. Labour ministers were quick to dismiss the figures. Nick Thomas-Symonds, the EU Relations Minister, said that the government had been forced into very difficult decisions to stabilise the economy, insisting Labour was acting in the national interest by securing a deal with Brussels to ease costs on supermarkets and shoppers. But critics argue the deal comes at the expense of British sovereignty, leaving the UK bound by sanitary and phytosanitary (SPS) rules that Reform says drag the country back into the orbit of Brussels. Nigel Farage has repeatedly vowed to scrap the agreement outright. In a speech aimed squarely at Farage, Thomas-Symonds accused the Reform leader of stoking anger and offering snake oil solutions. Yet his attack only highlighted the government's growing nervousness as Reform continues to draw working-class and traditional Conservative voters away from Labour's fragile coalition. Reform responded by accusing Labour of choking small businesses with tax hikes and EU red tape. A party spokesperson said, "No one has done more damage to British businesses than this Labour government. With 157,000 fewer people on payroll since Labour took office, their jobs tax is stifling success and hitting small and medium-sized firms across the country." Meanwhile, senior Conservatives privately admit the figures reflect an opportunity as well as a warning. With Labour sinking and Reform surging, the Tories risk being squeezed unless they sharpen their stance on borders, crime and economic growth. The poll paints a stark picture. A Labour government on the defensive, a Conservative party struggling for relevance, and Nigel Farage's Reform UK increasingly positioned as the voice of those who believe Britain needs real change. Not just more Brussels-light compromises.